You know, every single time you ask ChatGPT a question or have your phone fix a typo, you're plugging into a system that has a massive, hidden physical cost. And it's a cost that's growing like crazy. Today, we're going to dig into the staggering, real-world energy bill of AI.
Okay, let's just start with this one number, 1%. That's how much of the entire planet's electricity AI is eating up right now as we speak. And believe me, that number is on a rocket ship headed straight up.
And just so we're all on the same page here, that's not 1% of what tech companies use. No. We're talking about 1% of all power generated across the entire globe. I mean, think about it. For every 100 watts of power fired up anywhere on Earth, one of them is going straight to AI. That's a scale that would have sounded like science fiction just a few years back.
And this is where that number gets, well, kind of mind-blowing. At 500 to 600 terawatt hours a year, AI's energy appetite is 4 to 5 times what the entire country of Argentina uses. It uses more power than Sweden, Norway, and Finland, all put together. This isn't just some rounding error, folks. It's a colossal, almost unbelievable amount of energy.
Right. So the big question is, how on earth did we get here so incredibly fast? This wasn't some slow and steady increase. This was an absolute explosion, all driven by this insatiable appetite for more and more computing power. Well, take a look at this timeline. It really tells the story. It all kind of kicked off in 2017 with something called the transformer architecture. This is the secret sauce, right? It's what lets these models make trillions of complex calculations, and that's where this huge energy appetite really comes from. Then, boom, ChatGPT hits the scene in late 2022, and AI's power usage jumps to about 0.3% of the world's total. And now, just 2 years later, we've more than tripled that to the 1% we're at today. The speed is it's wild.
Okay, so where's all this juice actually going? You hear a lot about the energy it takes to train an AI model. And yeah, that's a huge piece of the puzzle. But look at this. The lion's share, more than half, is actually for what they call inference. And what's inference? That's us. It's every single time you or I run a query, generate a picture, or use an AI tool. It's the cost of using the AI day in and day out.
Now, let's put this up against some other big energy hogs you've probably heard about. Remember all the noise about Bitcoin mining and how much power it uses? Well, get this. AI uses 4 to 5 times more energy than all the Bitcoin mining in the world combined. It also absolutely dwarfs the energy needed to charge every single electric car on the road today. It's not even in the same league.
Okay, so we've thrown around some pretty huge abstract numbers. But what does this actually look like in the real world? How does all this electricity consumption translate into a tangible environmental cost?
All right, to make this really hit home, let's just zoom in on one platform we all know, ChatGPT. Just this one service, out of thousands, uses enough power every single day
To power over 175,000 American homes for a full year. Let that sink in for a second. The daily operation of one website is like powering a small city. And hey, remember that training cost we talked about? That massive upfront energy bill before anyone even types a single prompt? Well, just to create a model like GPT-4, the power required was just staggering. Enough to run between 1,000 and 2,000 American homes for an entire year. And that's like the cover charge just to get in the door. Companies are training bigger and bigger models all the time, and each one comes with its own monster energy bill. And all of this demand, it's starting to put a real visible strain on actual power grids. In places where data centers are clustered, it's becoming a huge issue. I mean, look at Ireland. Data centers, many of them for AI, are now sucking up 18% of the entire country's electricity. In Virginia here in the US, it's 20%. Our grids just weren't designed for this kind of intense, concentrated power draw.
So, where does this leave us? This whole exponential growth thing is on a collision course with our planet's energy limits and our climate goals. We are seriously at a crossroads. I mean, if we just keep going on this path, the projections are honestly, they're pretty scary. By next year, AI could be at 2% of the world's electricity. By 2027, maybe 3 to 5%. And look at 2030. We could be talking about 5 to 10% of all power on Earth going to AI. That kind of trajectory just isn't sustainable. So really, it feels like we have two very different paths ahead of us. On one side, you've got the nightmare scenario, right? The trend just keeps going, and we can end up with a full-blown energy crisis. But there's another path, the best-case scenario. This is where we get smart.
where innovation saves the day with super efficient hardware and a massive shift to renewables to power this whole revolution cleanly. And make no mistake, the stakes are incredibly high. Climate scientists are already sounding the alarm. This quote from just this year says it all. If we don't change course, AI could become a major driver of climate change. The urgency is absolutely real.
Okay, so this all sounds like a big global problem. But what does it have to do with you, personally? Well, it turns out it affects your life more directly than you might think. For starters, somebody's got to pay for all that electricity, and that cost could find its way onto your power bill or the price of AI services. Then there's your personal carbon footprint. Every single AI query you make adds a little bit to it. And yeah, all those little bits add up, directly impacting our collective future and the global climate. But here's the flip side. Your choices matter. You can be part of the solution. Just look at how this breaks down. A simple query on ChatGPT, it has a tiny but real carbon cost. But then you ask it to generate an image, and that cost jumps way up. And an AI video? Whoa, we're talking hundreds of times more emissions. Now, one action doesn't seem like much, but multiply that by billions of people every single day, and suddenly you have a massive environmental problem.
And that really brings us back to the biggest question of all, doesn't it? We know how powerful and amazing AI can be, but now we also know its staggering environmental price tag. So as we race into this new era, we all have to ask ourselves, is the power of AI worth the price?